Jesus James Angleton, the way you spin that story round. Always sharp, just like a tack when you're tracking the price of the dollar and pound. But drop the narrative, that thing that you inherited. Your history homos chariot just pulled up outside. Scott, William, Patrick on the scene, they're breaking up the subroutine. Something's crackling in your brain, MK Ultra make you go insane. Hey, don't you know we're only on the case for a good time, baby? Took a Rhodes pill, now I'm reading these books for a long time, baby. Honey pots and psyop traps, you can trust the plan until you snap. Slop conspiracy everywhere. History homos clear the air. Close your eyes, what's truth or lie? Hiding in the space between. Reality's a tangled scene. Tune in, you'll know what I mean. Close your eyes, what's truth or lie? Hiding in the space between. Reality's a tangled scene. Tune in, you'll know what I mean. Hey, history homos only on the case for a good time, baby. Took a Rhodes pill, now I'm reading these books for a long time, baby.
And we're live. Welcome back to the show. Patrick and I this week are further MK Ultraing ourselves and making ourselves less emotionally and psychologically stable
My
by
brain.
traversing deeper and deeper into the paths of madness.
Yeah, no. There's things going into our heads that don't belong there.
Yeah.
And I said this today. I won't save it. We're gonna talk about the Elan School today. No
Right.
relation, of course. As far as we can tell. The Young Global Leaguers was another kind of summer
Right.
camp, but the Elan School was a bad place. And the thing I've heard in all of the research we did for this was people saying, "I'm just going to do what they tell me. I just did what they told me to do." And something, people need to weigh things and, what's worse, suffering the punishment or suffering with the knowledge that you could inflict the punishment?
Right. Isn't it Prisoner's Dilemma? Isn't this what it's called too?
I don't know. I don't read.
Yeah,
I've never
me
been to
either.
jail. Why would
True.
I have to read? Uh,
But yeah, no. So okay, Elan School. You may have heard of this. I became aware of this maybe 5 or 6 years ago on Reddit. I used to be not I want to say avid Redditor, but I used to be a Reddit enjoyer, I guess I'll say. Particularly in the time period in which the Opie and Anthony subreddit existed.
it's like the
Um,
difference between going to Walmart in 1985 and going to Walmart now.
yeah,
Yeah,
true.
it's you get in and out. You're looking for
Um,
something, but
but
get
this
out.
was like one of Reddit's we did it Reddit moments that is genuine.
Everybody clapped for real.
$100 bills did fall from the sky. And that student was Albert Einstein, by the way. Um,
Oh.
but what's it
Was
called?
this, wait, was this before or after the Whalers when he founded that?
Before, I think.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But after
But
the
yes,
Nobel Peace Prize.
yeah. Obviously, he was in school. But yeah, no. So the Elon School. First found out about then, and I plumbed through the message boards about it, and very fascinating story. I don't think I grasped it really until now. The gravity of it, I guess, until now. Um, and well, certainly because I've done like a bunch of relevant research that is connects to it in the process of doing the show, so I kind of really do can kind of wrap my head around the enormity of what the significance of the Elan School saga is. Now, where do we even start with this? I guess we should start with saying talk about Synanon, which we have discussed on the show before, particularly in the episode where we talk about the United Farm Workers with Anthony Raimondo. Um, and Synanon was it was started by a guy named Charles Dederick, I believe his name. And he was MK Ultra. He was administered LSD by MK Ultra doctors in the 1950s, and he went on to start a group called Synanon. It was called something else today, but called Synanon. It was based off of the 12-step program, and it was also based around research experiments that were being conducted at Esalen specifically. And this was the concept of attack therapy and something called an encounter group. Which, by the way, if you want like a real thumbnail sketch of all this stuff, a good resource for it is the Adam Curtis documentary "Century of Self." They talk about the Esalen research a lot, and I think they talk about Synanon too, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
It's been a while. I have not seen that.
I watched it semi
That's
recently.
due for a rewatch.
But anyway, regardless, it was a cult. Most famously, you probably know of it if you've ever seen the student film by George Lucas, THX 1138. Famously, he was too cheap to pay actors to shave their heads to perform as extras in his dystopian science fiction film. So he just paid less money to a bunch of members of Synanon who ritualistically cut all their hair off to depersonalize themselves, I guess. I don't want to get too much into Synanon because I didn't research it at all, but as I understand it, all the terminology is directly from it, and or more importantly, they had a East Coast branch that was called I want to say New Day or New Dawn or
Daytop.
something. Daytop, thank
Mm.
you. It's
By the
called
way,
Daytop.
Synanon was George Lucas's third choice. It went actors willing to shave their heads for no extra money, uh, cancer people, and then when someone said you can't do that, it was Synanon.
Right.
So, which, yeah, they're and they were popular, but they were in the public consciousness at the time
Very
while
much
they were,
so.
yeah.
Very much so. Oh
People
yeah, their
remember
whole
them.
thing came apart sort of when it turned out that first of all they're a cult and they made you separate from your family and stuff. But also there was a lawsuit against them being leveled by an attorney. I don't remember on behalf of whom, but it was got related to like the family isolation shit. And the owner of the leader of the cult went and delivered a rattlesnake to his mailbox as like an intimidation tactic, and he went to jail for it, and the entire thing sort of came apart.
Oops. Uh, real snake in the mailbox.
Yeah. But yeah, so
There's an
basically,
irony
I
there.
mean, I don't need to say this to you guys, but I mean, obviously, it's pretty obvious that it's like a MK Ultra connected extended research control group, like kind of thing. Particularly, I think Elan is actually like the real control group. Like that. I don't know.
Mm.
Now, throughout this entire thing, we're gonna go through the realm of documented reality and speculation, of course. I do think we are going to give you not only a decent picture painted, but I do think we're going to be dealing mostly in the realm of verifiable fact as well,
Absolutely.
or at least we'll be able to present a good case, I think. But you mentioned Daytop a minute ago, and Daytop was the East Coast branch of this, which I don't remember the name of the Dr. Penn, some weird name, Dr. like Penn or Pet. Dr. Pet is the name of the guy who started it. I would like to know what his connects are, but
Yes.
in New York, though, there was this guy named Joe Ritchie, who apparently the crime he did was he robbed a mail truck to try to steal Social Security checks.
Joseph, there's
Um,
a legitimate way to do that. There's a legal way to do that. You don't have to break the law to steal
yeah, you
socials.
just have to be Indian and call people on Social Security and tell them to send you their money.
Sir, sir, I am pointing a gun at the mailman right now. Tell me your name. He's
But yeah,
going to
so
get it.
anyway, he got bagged doing that, and he actually cops, as I understand. So I also want to say this. I want to shout out. I don't remember the woman's name, but here I'll pull up the book real quick. But I checked out a book by a woman who worked with him, and I read it all in one day.
Yes.
Today I'm pulling up the PDF right now. It is by Mara Curley, who was a what do you call it, an employee of his for many years,
Yes.
but also was separately like a journalist of in her own right,
Mm.
and wrote like a pretty decent journalistic endeavor to uncover like this guy's crimes. And yeah, so that's where a lot of this stuff I'll be pulling from is that book. So check out that. Oh, the title of the book is Duck in a Raincoat, which is like a vaguely anti-Semitic allusion, actually, because
Really?
she's referring to like the water off of a duck, which is
Ah,
like part of that like Goebbels quote,
ah.
if you're not mistaken. You know
Refresh
the quote,
my
the one I'm
memory.
talking about. The quote is like, if you call a Jew a scoundrel, a liar, a thief, it'll all wash off of him like water off of a duck. But call him a
Uh,
Jew and watch as he recoils.
watch as
I've been
he
found out.
watch him screech as he strikes out at you.
Yeah, that's a
The
different one. That's a Polish adage.
Oh, no shit. The
Yeah.
Polacks got one. I'll tell you what though. Whatever you do, folks, do not search duck in a raincoat on Google because the cutest things in the world are gonna come
Oh
up.
yeah, I bet.
Oh
I bet
man, it
some
was very
very
adorable.
adorbsies pics come up.
I
But
forgot what I was doing.
yeah, so the book is pretty good. I do recommend you check that out if you want an in-depth look at. And so a lot of the stuff I'm probably gonna gloss over, like his entire uh gubernatorial effort. We're probably not gonna talk too much about that.
The first of a
Um,
second. The less
whatever. I
said, the
think
better.
yeah. But anyway, so regardless though, when he was in his early 20s, he was involved in Daytop and he had graduated from being a patient into being like an instructor for Daytop.
Yeah.
And he at that point was like, I would like to get into this myself. He realized that in the post um sort of hippie movement in the early 70s when this happened, there was a lot of money, particularly, and thanks to your research here, um, a lot of money to be had from the Department of Health and Human Services from the U.S. federal government. And he teamed up with a Boston-based
A Harvard
psychiatrist.
kid.
Yeah, well, we have a lot to say about him. But his name is Gerald E. Davidson. And he, or should I say Gerald E. Davidson?
That's how we
And
would say it.
he was a Harvard lecturer, as I understand it, but also a
M-
clinical psychiatrist as well.
University of Michigan, and by from Scott's stellar research here, we found an obituary that not even AI could dredge up, where he was in the Army, World War II. Scott, if you want to, I don't know
Yeah,
how
well,
much
so
you want
here's
to
the
talk about
thing.
that.
This is the interesting thing. So this guy seems to be the guy who turned Richie on kind of to this whole thing. Prior to him hooking up with Davidson, he was small potatoes, just a guy working at these crappy treatment centers.
Behavior
And it
modification.
behavior modification centers, but some of them were I guess you would consider them like traditional like halfway houses
Right,
as
right.
well. And particularly in the book, it details he worked for like three or four different organizations that were, and he worked like shitty. He made like $7 or $8 an hour. You know what I mean? In the to be fair, it was the '70s, so I mean,
Righteous
it's okay.
box.
It's money. But
That's a
the
week's
point
rent.
is that it wasn't the guy wasn't becoming what he wanted to be, which is a rich and famous fucking
Piece of shit.
yeah.
A rich and
So
famous liar. Just
yeah,
bald-faced, sweaty-faced liar.
yeah. Um, but yeah, so he hooks up with this guy Davidson. So I found this. I immediately saw this Davidson guy. So he worked at Harvard, and I saw that he is sort of like, for lack of a better word, I'm not gonna say he's literally this, but for lack of a better word, he's sort of like Richie's handler. By the way, this is spelled Ricci. Oh, I also
Mm.
forgot to mention he grew up in like a semi-slummy but Italian working class neighborhood,
Bug
raised by his
Italian. Bug
raised by his
Italian.
grandparents,
Sorry,
and
it's
his
just
grandfather was a Freemason who spoke fluent Yiddish.
bug Italian, but Jewish.
Yeah.
What the hell, man?
Why was he speaking Yiddish?
Uh, Practice. I don't. Maybe it wasn't a native language. Maybe he was
I don't
trying
know,
to.
man. Maybe it was
Maybe he was
Sicilian.
practice. Maybe he had
According to Corey
lines.
Hughes, the Sicilians are overrepresented with the tribal nature.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, you couldn't call him anything really because he was
True.
everything you called him. But yeah, if his grandfather either he's probably just practicing lines for that gay play they do in the hall in the Masonic
Fiddler on the
lodges.
Roof.
That I was
Oh,
in
that
that.
gay play, that gay play. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, with he was the third. Uh,
The Hiram thing,
yeah, there you go. I forget.
the killing of King Hiram or whatever.
Yes, the
Anyway,
three acolytes or whatever. But yeah, very strange. And Freemasonry. It's like
here
the
it is
Knights of
again.
Columbus or whatever. Sure. I can go to a cemetery and within 10 minutes of anywhere I am in New England, and
I mean,
fine.
he speaks Yiddish though. Also,
Oh, he
like
speaks Yiddish around the
Yiddish.
house. I
All right,
mean,
man. Whatever. But I anyway, so regardless,
tie me
he
in the.
hooks up with this guy Davidson. Now Davidson, we find out I immediately me and Patrick have like a running dialogue throughout the research process. I feel like we really went hard on this week. Honestly,
Very
we've
upset.
been doing a lot of work in the past few weeks. I'll say that. But this I really put my soul into. Um
And we still got gas in the tank because there's too many questions that have no
Yeah,
answers
well,
here.
I'm getting to that now. So anyway, I go, what's this guy's deal? Davidson, he is a he. It says here in his Boston Globe obituary that he served in World War II in the Army, but we looked into the year he graduated college. It was before World War II, so he was already a college graduate. And the army, this guy's like a 5'3" overweight Jewish guy from Brookline, Massachusetts. Like I don't know. It doesn't really check out in my fucking hyper reality.
We need every
So
man we can get, son. Get
so I
in
was just
there.
thinking though, but he's a psychiatrist, right? So regardless of whether we'll get to the psychiatrist part, but he's a college graduate, so chances are he is an officer. They don't usually make enlisted men be. They usually, if you're intelligent at all, they bring you up into fucking
Yeah.
into something.
If you have a brain worth not getting blown out, then they'll find
Take it.
something for you to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not because
So
they like you, but you are
yeah,
a
they're trying to
tool
win
that's
the
not
war.
dull.
Yeah.
That's all.
But what's it called? So, but it got me thinking though. Army. I'm like thinking Army psychologist. Army psychologist. The Army Psychological Warfare Division. You know, the one that conducted the fucking Nuremberg trials. Yes, I've talked about this before, but I'll read this. This is a summary AI generated. The Psychological Warfare Division um, in the Army reconstituted into the Informational Control Division on May 12th, 1945, as part of the Office of Military Government, United States. ICD's mission was to control and reshape German media to promote democratic values and counteract Nazism. One of the ICD's function was to conduct opinion research, including surveying German public reactions to the Nuremberg trials. These surveys, this is just the normie take, by the way. It's just like you don't get like edgy answers from AI, just
No,
FYI. So we're
not
not going to
unless
go.
you train
This
it.
is a whole episode, clearly. I think we could talk about this with Corey Hughes, by the way, actually. I think he's got a few opinions on it. But regardless, I'm just saying this guy fits the profile for this sort of role in our U.S. Army during World War II to a T. Also, another thing is I noted that I have a couple quotes here, particularly. And I just want to read this quote to you from him. Um, oh, I went too far. I went too far.
You went too
Got it.
far.
Got it. Okay.
Tell that to
So this is
Richmond
him
Gibbs.
talking about um in an article that was done with somebody named Taft. I don't know what piece of this is this article is recounted in the book. It says here, perhaps most revealing about Taft's article were his conversations with Jerry Davidson and Joe Ritchie. Davidson told me, "We're a community of self-help like the Mormons." He said he has been a passionate observer since of group phenomena and compared Elan to the Nazi concentration camps of World War II. "I've always been fascinated with the phenomenon of identification with the aggressor," Davidson was quoted, recalling how some Jews, after release from their camps, took on the leather dress of their guards. "At Elan, I want to provide a good aggressor, a responsible, good role model. And that role model is Joe Ritchie."
The amount of people that said I looked at to Joe Ritchie like he was God is weird. I
It's
saw it
odd, yeah.
several times. That's not the kind of language that gets used in a adolescent rehabilitation center, behavioral rehabilitation, whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Um,
But here's this. So I realize this guy's Jewish, so that's it could explain his obsession with Nazis and just talking about them apropos of nothing.
yeah.
But I to this psychological profile we're building here, yes, I realize it's a flawed concept, but it does sort of seem like a guy who was worked on the Nuremberg trials, doesn't it? For to say something so candidly like that in an article interview.
Right, look, I mean, yeah, the odds of him just being an uncredited extra at the Nuremberg trials, it's not impossible.
Non-zero.
Yeah. So, but whether or not he was directly involved, he might have very well known people that were.
But this got
Uh,
me thinking. I go, what the hell is this guy's story in the military? So I try to pull his records, right? And I was indicated, but my preliminary search on the National Archives indicate that he at least is an officer because those are separate from the more easily accessible and enlisted soldiers records. But shouts out to Sean, listener of the show, friend of the show.
Dr.
I
Sean.
had him put in a request because he's searched military records before. He had the website profile and everything all set up, and to look up this, try to pull this guy's records. And I would just like to know what his mode of service is, or what like his rank was when he was a rank and division and shit was when he was dismissed from the military. And then that's a piece of information. So we're waiting to hear back from that. There will be an update. I'm sure we'll just talk about it randomly in another episode, but I will keep you guys updated with that information if and when we get anything about it, because that would be really fascinating if we crack the case with that new piece of information. So shouts out Sean, thank you for looking that up for me. But yeah, so okay, we got Davidson, he's in the picture. They start their first treatment center at Sebago, Maine. And
Nice
it's actually
place.
focused more on adults. It's focused more on adults and drug addicts, sort of more like Daytop.
Right.
Time
And
goes by,
mhm.
and they realize that a good way to actually make money, because these people can voluntarily leave, because they're adults, obviously. So there's people certain. I have to. I'm getting ahead of myself. I was just about to explain like the whole indoctrination system, but let me just get the fucking facts out first, and then we'll talk about the sadistic methods that they
Yes,
fucking
yeah.
use.
Yeah, let's not ruin people's days just yet.
So okay, these people basically, though, I will say this to preface it, is that it's an all-encompassing system in which you have no freedom like in a cult, and it's self-enforced and it works from the ground up. So when you enter the system, you are at the lowest position in the organization, and you work your way up into it, and you actually become the enforcers as time goes on. It's a slow
Ooh,
evolution from lowest to not. You'll never be the highest because that's Joe Ritchie or whoever's in charge of Elon, but
that's Mr. Fur Coat.
right. But the way as it works is you either buy into it or you don't generally. And but here's the thing with the adults, you can just go as an adult, you can just go, fuck this, I'm out of here and going to go take drugs and die. And they go, fine, see you later, loser. Some of them are court ordered, obviously. That's I think that there's some a little bit of that going on. But here's the other thing: is they figured out though that this, particularly in the '70s, go figure, boomers don't want to raise their fucking kids. Um, the Watchers don't want to raise their
Well,
kids. They got things to watch.
the Watchers won't watch the Watchmen, and
Yeah.
now,
Who
now,
will
now
watch The Watchmen? That's true. Great
now we're
question.
now we're watching this. Now I'm watching the
By the
worst
way,
things
for
ever.
those who don't get that reference, the Watchers is a new term for boomers that Patrick and I coined. It's short for Fox News Watchers. But I think it's funnier though than just Fox News Watchers because it doesn't necessarily have to be Fox News that they watch. It's that they watch bullshit and believe it.
Yeah, it's they watch things, and
Yeah, everything they've learned, they've watched.
yes, they've never done they.
They've
That's it.
watched their country go to shit, and they didn't do anything. They just
But they didn't
watched.
do it. They
Yeah.
didn't do it.
They
They
just
just watched it.
watched. Yeah.
It's so
But anyway,
funny.
enough about the Watchers. The Watchers do sort of figure heavily into this because it's Watchers who sent their kids to this
Is
place.
it well, it depends on because this place ran for 41 damn
Good
ding
point.
dong
Yeah.
years. We're
But generally
all
speaking,
to
in the
blame.
1970s, like the adults then were boomers, right? They were all in the post World War II era born.
I think that the if we're talking about 20 something ish people in 19 the late 60s, their parents would be the silent generation, veterans of like
Okay.
World War I and stuff. So I think their whole thing was they didn't expect what had come, and they had no way
Right.
to deal with it. And so, and
Yeah.
frankly, a
It's worth.
rehabilitation center is not the same as sending your kid to a place because he's got caught smoking weed or something,
Right.
you know? Um, Different levels of culpability on the part
Yeah.
of the
And it's called a
guardian.
school, but it's not really a school. You don't
Nah,
do any learning there. In fact, there was like this black dude who got sent there who was like, he got out and he was like, I still can't read.
I forgot how to read, probably. Yeah.
I don't know. We'll give him a
Well,
little credit
hey,
there, but
um,
oh,
and
I
this,
mean, to be fair, this guy had a terrible life. He like was like
oh,
abandoned by his mother at like age 4 or something. I mean, it's like the guy didn't have a chance, obviously, even
yeah, no,
within his, whatever his just segment of society is. It's double for he's double fucked over. But yeah, so you can see why that was not the fucking place for him.
no.
I
No,
don't
he
know
needed to be
what
somewhere
it
where
is,
they
but
horses. Apparently, the inner city youths, the YNs, they respond well to horse therapy.
is that so?
I think so, yeah. Makes
I
sense.
mean, it does help with empathy. I hear
Yeah,
the horse
yeah.
thing.
But
Anyway,
hey, whatever works. No, not whatever works, because these poor people, half of them say, "Well, it worked." And it's like, well,
yeah. Well, they have to
putting you
wait,
in.
wait, wait. The quarter of them, because half of them are dead. and
Yeah.
the other half are not for it, and then maybe half of the remaining ones say, "Yeah, it worked."
Yeah. Whoever's left
The,
has an opinion on
I
it.
have to. This can't be understated. The fucking stats on this place are abysmal. Like I'm being generous by saying a little less than half of the people who graduated from or left this place died of a
Yeah.
death of despair.
Well, according to uh
Joe Ritchie
Elan's, yeah, Joe
is
Ritchie's numbers
93% success rate. Yeah.
never corroborated
Literally, they just
what
made that. Oh
what
yeah, it's
data
like
they
source.
used.
I made it up. It's Giga Chad saying I made it up.
I made it up.
Yeah.
Now, give me pills that I will eat and I'll get sued for sexual harassment 3 times or something in the 80s.
Hell yeah.
Also,
Anyway, so let's
my casino burned down.
yeah. Well, I got a lot to say on all that stuff. But
Yeah.
okay, so the school though. School air quotes. But they
Or
start basically
Sebago.
they figure out though that the we have to talk about that in 1 second. I was gonna say so they start figuring out though that the best way to get guaranteed income is to get government. Oh, I forgot to mention they went to Maine because there's less stringent regulatory
Yeah.
committees in order to grant you a license to do this stuff.
Accreditation, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
These kids, these people, from 12 to 18 and up, these people were doing like second grade work for the entire time that they were there, 3, 4, 5 years, some of them. Like none of them learned anything in this time.
yeah.
It's
The
ridiculous.
entire program is based around getting you to be indoctrinated within the system and then enforce it on those lower in you on the hierarchy. That's literally the whole purpose of the entire exercise.
How did this place work? I heard that question be posited rhetorically out loud during the Red Bar interview, and I thought the scapegoat mechanism, of course. It's
Yeah.
perfect. It's
It
a
truly is
bullpen.
that, by the way, because well, we'll get it. Let's. Do you want to do that now? We want to talk about them, then we'll talk about
No,
the
no, you're on a
intrigue.
roll.
I think it's worth saying all this stuff, just so people get an idea of what the actual day to day is. Then we can talk about the
Yeah, yeah,
controversies outside of
yeah.
that. But anyway, so it's attack therapy. Attack therapy. The principle behind it essentially is that um, you sort of give up something that's personal to you, that is bothering you. It's like a piece of source of trauma, perhaps to you, um, and you arm the rest of the people in this group. They call them encounter groups. Um, and the other people in the group, they all know this about you, and then you're singled out and attacked about things that make you feel uncomfortable. And the point is to simultaneously, I think part of it is that to like sort of harden you against the thing that you that's being targeted. And then the other thing is the idea is that it breaks you down, breaks your personality down, and you can be rebuilt as a new person. Essentially, it's real MK Ultra type stuff. It's real. What's the guy from Canada? Um,
You and Cameron.
you and Cameron, right?
But it also reminds me of Henry Murray's program where they would have kids like Kaczynski write out their entire life's thesis and then
Yeah,
take it, hand it to 5 fucking undergrad dickheads, trying to get their masters, and say, destroy him, tear him apart. And what's interesting about that is when you would get to Elan, they would make you write a guilt letter
yeah,
detailing everything that you've ever done bad, and they'd send it to your parents to review. And it would go back and forth until you admitted to everything your parents ever remembered you doing. Maybe some things that, whatever it was, everyone around you knew it, and it was weaponized against you from the
yeah.
jump. Uh,
And so yeah, so attack therapy was this idea that you get screamed at and made to feel shitty about yourself. So again, it sort of destroys. I think it's almost like a original sin concept where it's like, no, you're a fundamentally fucked up bad person, so we need to get rid of that person and make a new person based within the Elan model, I guess, which is inherently good because you're here.
yeah. But the you should emphasize you get screamed at by 100 plus people at once.
Yes. That's
Yeah, I
called a
know this.
general meeting. They call this thing called a general
Yeah,
meeting, where it's everyone they're broken up into dorms, and everyone in your dorm singles you out. Like if you had done something wrong, air quotes, it would often result in something called a general meeting, where they get around you and all scream at you and sort of just belittle you and make you feel terrible about whatever that is. And the thing is that sometimes they were manufactured because there is a pressure on the people above you in the hierarchy to produce results as far as disciplinary actions. So there would be things that were sort of engineered to happen, like conflicts between two people would be engineered to happen by people higher up in the hierarchy. So when you get there, you're called a non-strength. And then there's several layers before you get to become a strength. Strengths are allowed to speak to each other. Non-strengths are not ever allowed to speak to each other unless it's in the presence and in the allowance of a higher ranking officer.
yes.
Um, and yeah,
Very
so
gay.
it is a little gay. Well, the
Oh
thing is,
God.
actually, well, there's a little bit of homosexual rape going on. Did you hear anything about that? The
Well,
woman who wrote this book went to visit a guy named Stephen Smith. Interestingly, I know it's a very obviously common name, but I thought it was funny that it's the same name as the guy from that Psychopath Factory,
yeah,
Psychopath
psychopath
Machine
machine. Yeah.
book, which, by the way, is another example of a hierarchical MK Ultra based psychiatric situation in which the inmates are literally, quite literally, running the asylum and doing sick things to their underlings to the delight of their captors, I guess. Check out that episode with Adam, by the way. Um, so she meets with this guy who went there in the 1970s, I believe, and he said that they Joe Ritchie himself locked him. He had done something. I think he'd run away, and to punish him for that, Joe Ritchie said, any good surgeon knows that the way to get rid of a cancer is to cut it out. So he locked him, two other boys, and two girls in a upstairs, like room upstairs in like one of the dorms for 2 days straight. And I'm not gonna get into the details here because his trauma. I'm not gonna do it justice. But immediately, the two females were sexually assaulted, and then over the course of the next 2 days in which they were locked in there, he was sexually assaulted by the larger of the two boys. Now, again, this is a alleged. A guy said it in jail. Probably wanted to give a good story to this woman's book or whatever. But based on around the other stuff, the other thing is that like a lot of these like YouTube or just videos or like podcasts that discuss this, and they try not to get into like the grizzly side or even the schizo side. They don't like the elephant in the room is that like 50% of these kids were molested.
Yes.
um that's the thing. I mean, that's just the nature of troubled children, I suppose. It's the nature of drug abuse treatment centers and stuff. You're gonna come across a slim minority, meaning just barely a minority of people here who've been molested.
Absolutely.
So obviously sexual violence is going to be rampant. And then the fact that interaction between the genders is totally verboten within the Elan system, I'm sure that doesn't help matters at all.
No.
Particularly when like literal rape is used evidently by Joe Ritchie as a punishment technique, or
Well,
allowing for facilitation of rape, I should say.
and did he not what, I believe there was a sexual harassment lawsuit that ended with him paying out a settlement. So there's, even if it's not coordinated, even if it's not condoned, the fact that there's, we hear different numbers over the years, but the ratio of students, captives to staff,
Residence, I think, is the term.
residents, sure,
Well, there's
is like,
five permanent staff members at any given time, and then
yeah,
the rest of them were ex-residents that became faculty members, essentially.
right. So the ratios are way off. The only people that are really doing any you know watching are the residents on residents. So I mean, Red Bar in this interview that we will be getting to
Yeah, well, it's
just
the fucking
fl
burying the lead here is that
yeah.
Jules, they've been saying I've been MK Ultra'd.
No, no, you're brilliant. No, oh yeah, no, wait, let me give you
Shout
an example.
out, you and Cameron. Yeah.
Um, his own words. I'm the only one who came out of that school that hasn't killed someone. And her own words. You're the only one who came out of that school who is even capable of telling a story in a listenable manner.
Yeah, sure.
Shut up.
But anyway, he also said something. What was that other quote you had of his where it's like,
Uh, there's a
because he
few.
was, by the way, this is also,
I only
for
brought
those that
this
don't
up.
know who this guy is, he's a podcaster. I think it's intriguing that he was he's a very publicly visible person now being discussed on like Tim Pool and shit. But it's interesting that he was an MK Ultra victim at fucking Elan. That's just
Mm,
very intriguing to me, I guess.
mm. Tickles the underside of my brain is all I'll say.
Yeah,
But
what is that quote though? He says,
I forgot all about it and I moved on because I'm not crazy. These
right.
people, yeah, it's like
He was saying, so this was him going, he by
I
the way, this
forgot
is
all
him in a
about it.
rant, or borderline unhinged rant about how people who went to him at Elan are being trolls on the internet towards him and going in his comments and being pro Gino Bisconti, I think was an allegation, if I'm not mistaken.
All of
But
this from
in
like, yeah,
all of this be in revenge for the way he treated them at Elan.
yeah.
Now he's not crazy because he forgot about all this. My brother in Christ.
I wouldn't say that, but
Well, yeah,
um,
my brother in Yahweh.
nah. Stop
um,
it. No, I only brought that up to say that he flippantly mentions the fact that there was a 14-year-old there who had molested maybe 20 some plus other kids.
yeah.
And it was one of the things that made him, when he tried to address it with the upper, staff, they just said, "Yeah, well, we'll put him in the corner," which was another punishment or whatever.
Yeah, well, I was just gonna bring up the corners. Yeah, they literally would put you in like how put you in a corner like as like you make a kid for 5 minutes have time out or whatever.
You act like a baby, you're gonna get treated like a baby.
They literally put you in a corner for literally weeks, months at a time. Which, by the way,
Yeah,
also means that there's gonna be another kid there watching you watch the wall.
yeah. Who watches the watcher
Who
of the
watches the
wall?
watch walls? So yeah, it's just a really sick multi-level industrialized child abuse factory, I guess. It's a factory
Sadist
for
factory.
DID. I'm sorry. He's what he said was I totally forgot about my time there and
Yeah,
moved on with my life. Bro, you just described identity disorder. You
dude.
had you had another fictional fucking identity that you discarded when you left that place, brother. Like
Yeah, you were fine to play fascist for as long as it. Oh, well, oh, you mean three times as long as you needed to?
yeah, I guess he stayed there until after he was 18 years old because he liked it. I don't know.
He
But
was
he's
good
also
at it.
not crazy, so he's moved on from that part of his life. So we all know he's
Uh,
super not crazy. Listen, man, diapers are expensive.
oh, there was another quote that I sent you of his.
He's diped up, folks.
Oh, Oh, okay, I got you now. Uh, so I knew I was gonna play ball and get the fuck out. Uh, I wanted to talk to you about this. When you were watching or reading, watching these documentaries, these interviews, and
The book.
were you just like screaming at the TV or the computer, like, you know, what you would do to these people, what you'd do to get out? Because I felt helpless.
Here's
You
the
know,
problem: is that when you're a kid, you don't have a fucking choice.
no,
Now, didn't
unless,
even mention this aspect is that the tuition at this place is astounding.
ooh, baby,
When at the end of its time existing, it was $54,000 a year, which is more than a Harvard education at the time, by the
amazing.
way. But even in the early 1970s when it first started, it was $2,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
in
Yeah.
1970s money, and it ballooned exponentially. In the 1980s, it went up to something like $20,000 in 80s money a year. And mind you, they had multiple facilities,
Mm-hmm.
one of
The
which was
first one,
burned down in a fucking Jewish lightning incident. At Sebago, if I'm not mistaken. They blamed it on a student, and I'm sure everyone was like, "Yeah, I guess so. You have all these terrible, rough students."
whoever
Um,
that student was, if he is real, Godspeed.
yeah. But anyway, so yeah, they had multiple things, and a conservative estimate for the amount of people, kids who were there at any given time was between 150 to 175, and that's conservative. Could have been up to 300 at times. And now just think about that, $20,000 times 300. I'm too stupid for that kind of
I
math.
did the math at 54K times 150, and it came out to about 8.1 million. What do you want
And this is,
for
by the way,
money?
after the 1970s when they're
A
just getting
revolution?
shitloads of money from the HHS too, by the way.
Hey, government money dries up, Scott. You got to make up that difference. Plus, these staff
True.
members, they're getting paid almost five figures.
Yeah. Literally, yeah, they were OnlyFans.
These people are
But
almost
here's the
making
thing, he did
$30,000.
classic cult shit, which was he would literally buy people a house and be like, you know what, don't worry about the mortgage.
Amazing.
But it's like
Yeah.
now you're literally, this guy owns you.
Yeah. And there were a lot of those junior staff or whatever you want to call
The
them.
guy really reminds me of Larry King. Larry, what's his name? Not Larry,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
the Franklin guy.
Oh yeah. Not the other Larry. Um,
Although he is probably wondering what happened to the groceries.
that's so funny. What was that interview? Who was he interviewing?
I don't remember,
That's
but it's
so
some
funny.
woman admitting to being raped while she had her groceries or something. And then Larry
Wait,
King just goes, "What happened to the groceries?"
wait. Did you put him down? I hope you didn't drop him. That'd
Anyway,
be
I'm
very
sorry I
useful.
brought that up. But yeah, he reminds me a lot of that Larry King guy where he would like give kids let other people drive around his cool cars and stuff to make you feel like you were close to him and in his circle of
So
trust or whatever.
cool,
And
man.
this is, by the way, that this woman happened to this woman. This woman went to go work for him, and she ended up being like in his house all the time, and while he's like in his fucking robe and shit, and like he like tried to he got her husband involved in his gubernatorial campaign, and then like try to get them to divorce and shit, like by driving a wedge between, absolute fucking nutcase shit. Um, yeah. Also, she found out though that she interviewed all these people who went, and there was like several times where um he like fucked the girls who went there like all the time. Like he had an apartment inside or he had a trailer that he could stay at Elan, and like yeah, there was all kinds of allegations of like him inviting up like 17-year-old girls up there all the time, and letting them drink. I know it's kind of crazy to think, oh, it's like a treatment center for like problem kids and he's just like plying them with alcohol. But I mean, I guess shouldn't be a surprise to you, is that this sort of environment has this sort of stuff going on. Oh, we didn't even talk about the fact that they kidnap you in the middle of the night.
Oh,
Yeah.
almost. Yeah. The fact that there's nothing you tell people you start talking to people about this and you can watch what it takes for them to realize the extent of
Enormity
it.
of it. Yeah.
And after a certain point, if you don't see their eyebrows raise, it's oh, they kidnap you out of your bed
Yeah.
in the middle of the night. And you don't talk to your parents for a month if you're good.
If you're good. Yeah.
If you're good. Amazing.
Yeah. So they basically, the way that it wouldn't always work like this. Sometimes you get dropped off, actually, depending on
Or
like what
flown on a
offender you are.
or flown on a private plane.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot to tell you. Did you see that screenshot I sent you of, I'll actually read the quote directly. Um, So this is a quote from Richie. He said, "I want to be at every shindig. I've got Nelson, my pilot, ready to fly us anywhere in the state. My plane is my secret weapon. None of those. This is while he's running for the governor. None of these bozos running for governor have a private plane at their disposal. Did you know that I lent my plane to George Bush a few years back so he could make some stops around the state? Those was my days as a Republican. I didn't know any better. He smiled. By the way, how did it work out? Blah, 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 whatever. I wonder if Bush got some walnuts while he was at the Elan School.
What, some walnut sauce? Is that what is that what you're
Yeah,
referring to?
I'm referring to the Pizzagate code.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad I don't have that at the front of my head anymore. Uh, Disgusting. Yeah. So you have North Fox Island in mind.
Private planes, yep.
You
You got
have,
Craig Spence in mind, George H.W. Bush,
yeah.
presidency with black kids and the little black boys in the fucking White House. That's the walnuts, by the way. Black male children, I believe, is what the code is.
Hey, call him what you want. Don't call him racist.
True.
Uh,
Ain't no president ever called me walnut.
don't call him late for dinner. I'll tell you that.
So call him late for walnuts. Um, but
Um,
what's it called? Yeah. So that's fucking odd, by the way. The whole thing, it's just man, so yeah, they come in the middle of the night, and usually they have students who went or residents who have graduated onto becoming counselors there drive with a van and literally physically remove you from your parents' house while they're crying, sobbing, and they bring you in a van all the drive, possibly sometimes multiple days to to uh to Poland, Maine, by the way, which is pretty far up in Maine if you've ever been up there. It's not close, it's not near Portland. Um it is. I mean, it's not. It's like an hour up from Portland, but still,
if
it's
you've
quite a
ever
ways.
drank Poland Springs bottled water, you are complicit. All right.
Yeah. And if you got one of those coolers in your office, I don't even want to hear. And don't even look at me.
What kind of secrets are you telling around that cooler? You sick
True.
freaks in Poland
But
Springs.
yeah, so they grab you in the middle of the night and then yeah, but so by the way, but the fact that it's ex um residents is that means there's a non-zero amount of like literal cons that are doing this, by the way,
Yes.
with no license. No license to do this in any way. Um And then that's not even including the point. Oh yeah, Red Bar mentions that his parents were bamboozled into doing this by some money guy. I have to assume he's talking about Dr. Schwartz. Did you hear about this guy?
Tell me more about Dr.
Dr.
Schwartz.
Schwartz is a Chicago-based
Oh,
psychiatrist. Jules, I found my doctor.
you don't need a doctor. You're so smart.
Yeah, no, but it has to be him. I mean, and by the way, I forgot to mention this too. Massive overrepresented for Jewish kids, overrepresentation of Jewish kids. Like literally, there's that documentary from the '80s. There's a documentary made about the place called "For the Child's Own Good," and they feature like a couple scenes of like they just shot footage at Elon. And I saw like three. Oh, I forgot to mention talk about the signs. So they make you hold signs that say stuff about your guilt letter in it, like
Yeah.
admitting bad stuff about yourself, and it's a form of humiliation where everyone can rip on you for the sign.
Hmm.
And yeah, like just in this little 5 minute segment in this documentary, like one of the girls, his name is like Samantha Cohen. Like there's like all kinds of people that I'm just like really shocked. And I'm pretty sure that this Dr. Schwartz guy just sold all of his co-ethnics up the river, up Poland Spring.
It wouldn't be the first nor the last time
Yeah.
that they do that.
But yeah, so here's the thing. So he knew Davidson. They went to what's it called, school together. They went to medical school together. And this guy was a pipeline from all these normal suburban kids, and he got a kickback from Davidson for every person he sent. And this is exposed. This I think he like received some sort of reprimand for this at some point,
A reprimand. That's good.
or like lost his license. I don't know. I didn't look too deeply into it, but
Yeah.
the guy's rep was ruined at least.
Mm. Uh, the what's interesting is, people might be wondering, how did this go on for so long? How could this
40
have,
years. Yeah, 40
yeah,
years.
40 years.
1971 to 2011.
Yeah, we'll address that and what the state's complicity is in it. Uh,
Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit more about the structure of it. So yeah,
fucking
there's
yeah,
so they do the general meetings and
structure.
shit, but something called electric sauce where they like make gross, yucky stuff liquid and dump it on your head, like sometimes including toilet water and stuff.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll fix them. It's just insane, man. Because if you took any of these people out of this, uh, well, we'll talk
All of
about it
them did
now.
eventually leave, yeah.
Yeah, and they can from the outside see that this is not good. This is not conducive to raising a healthy child. But what's funny is that the self-awareness is uh totally absent while the bubble is not popped. But the second that the state of Maine announces in advance that they are going to be sending inspectors in,
Yeah.
everyone gets right in shape. There's no screaming. There's
Well,
no
in the book
boxing.
it says that the kids were like, "Nice, the fucking inspectors are coming. We get to take a break for a couple days."
Go figure. Yeah. They're sick of it too, but they
Yeah,
can
how
stand
imagine
it.
how exhausting it must be to be in that 24/7. They couldn't even sleep. They had sleep night watchmen. People,
Yes.
kids who they call them night owls, who were supposed to be up all night making sure you weren't pretending to be asleep.
Yeah. They would just intermittently shine the light at you to
Yeah.
like try and get you. Um, Real sick shit, man.
Yeah, yeah, if you ran away, they'd make you wear a bunny costume, like a pink bunny costume. And there was one kid who was in that for the Child's Own Good documentary where they shackled his feet to each other so he couldn't run. And then Joe Ritchie's just like, he's trying to run away from 17 different treatment centers. What am I supposed to do?
I don't know, Joe. Maybe give him any number of those pills you're on. That'll
They
cool
did
him
though.
out.
That's the other thing. They fucking they prescribed all kinds of psych meds with no prescription. Now, this Davidson guy was around and he did have a fucking medical pad. They never explained where these prescriptions were coming from though.
Yeah. But
Also, I forgot to mention this entire time he was interacting with this woman who wrote this book, totally had bags of Coke so big that like multiple people were like, I've never seen a bag of Coke that large.
really, I've never seen
Yeah.
one smaller. I mean, shit, dude.
And this is the 70s and 80s.
This is a
In the
sweaty
80s,
guy.
somebody's saying, I've never seen so much Coke in one place at a time. Are you
What?
fucking kidding me? And
What do you live in Calcutta? What are
he's
you?
got a private plane. He deals with children. He lent the fucking thing to George W. Bush, and he's got cocaine flying around
Scott,
in the
this
1980s.
Scott, this is speculation, and I don't deal in that kind of malarkey, all right? What are you trying to tell me, Scott?
I don't know, man.
Put it in one sentence for the folks at home. I have
I
an
can't
idea.
even imagine, dude. There's so much more too. I haven't even
He-
scratched the fucking
that's the
surface.
thing is it goes on and on. We haven't even talked about the dirty, lawsuit shit. But yeah,
We'll get there. We'll get
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Stressful stuff.
let's talk a little bit more about the
Imagine,
therapy.
imagine being there. We're just stressed out reading about it and
I
talking
know.
about it.
I literally can't imagine, dude.
One description I read about it was they detail everything that could possibly happen, and that's just in 10 minutes. You still have the rest of the day to go.
Yeah.
In 10 minutes, there could be a ring where people are beating the shit out of each other. There
We
could
didn't
be
talk about the ring. So
oh.
there's the ring. The
I'd have
ring.
been in the ring a lot. I'd have been a biter. That'd have been me.
So if they would do engineer conflicts, like I said, in order to get, I think that like they were encouraged top down to be like, we need to break these people. They're new. They're resisting the treatment. And the idea is to
They can't
depersonalize you
all
to the point where
they can't all be like Red Bar, a star
it
stew.
can't all be like Mike David. Yeah. Immediately take to it and become a fucking tyrant.
Because he's not crazy.
He's not crazy. Obviously, he can decompartmentalize it.
Yeah, I can just pretend I'm someone else. I can pretend I'm a Nazi for a few years. It's fine.
Yes.
Uh, I don't
Um,
understand that. Whatever. Yeah. Karen,
um,
sorry.
regardless. Yeah, so the ring though, it's so if they would organize not or they would engineer like conflicts, and if they would get like someone who they deemed like unbreak that they needed to break to lash out physically at another person, and then they would just get all the biggest guys to beat the fucking shit out of them in a pseudo boxing ring, but it was actually a physical ring of people, like a circle of people with 15-ounce gloves and helmets.
All screaming.
You know,
So
everyone in the circle is now screaming at you. Talk about fucking scapegoat ritual, by the way.
yeah, man, it's horrifying. It's a general meeting plus a gauntlet of endless
Until you just
opponents.
submit and you're
Yeah,
unresponsive on the ground. Yeah.
go ahead, fight five people. There's just going to be a sixth one.
I know. Yeah, that's the thing.
Give up, relent, acquiesce,
Yeah, that's
admit,
the whole point. That's the point of the exercise is to go like, you can't get out of here. We're gonna just beat you up if you don't participate in this.
kill me for
Yeah, like that
crying out
Chinese
loud.
guy in the plane. Hear me! Hear me!
Hey, Hall of Famer right there.
He is,
That's a
yeah.
man. That's a man standing up for his rights. Um,
Anyway, so but the ring though. So I have to mention this. I don't remember the name of the kid. R.I.P. Obviously. Sorry that I don't remember your name.
Michael
But
Phillips, I
Michael
believe.
interesting. Michael Phillips, he was
Vivian
put in no, that's not what it was.
Oh, oh,
Um just
sorry.
people from my hometown will are laughing right now. Um but what's it called? They're what's it called? So he got put in the ring, and 4 hours passed, and then a call to the local most near municipality with a hospital and ambulance was called, and he was brought to the hospital, and they claimed that he had a what do you call it, a an aneurysm,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
and that he
Um,
died in the hospital. And I don't know how we know this, but apparently there's quite a strong evidence to indicate that he had participated in an extended ring session earlier in the night, and yet no charges were leveled against them at all. No accusations. The no wrongdoing was ever insinuated by the local authorities.
the beauty of mass scapegoat ritual is the diffusion of blame.
Yeah,
They could never they could never litigate that. It's why the Jews
that's
back a
true.
don
Yeah,
it's why the Jews back a donkey off a cliff.
yeah. Yeah, you're right. No, I mean that's true. I mean, like, how could you litigate that? How could you prosecute that rather? Be like, okay, every teenager that was in the fucking room goes to jail now for murder.
They'd be better off, frankly.
Yeah, some of the people did say I like jail better than in those documentaries. They like jail better than
I
Elon.
said that I would have liked jail better than this shit. Not, the worst parts of jail, but at least you can request the whole, not that,
Yeah.
to be
Well,
put
you
in
can
there.
request the whole if you want. Some people
Yeah,
do.
yeah. Oh, put me away. I'll end up like Mary O'Brien, God bless her, a woman, a former patient who was detailed in the Last Stop documentary.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that documentary. Shouts out to the guy who made that. I don't remember his name, but there's a
T.J. Nelson,
documentary,
I believe.
something like that. And he did a documentary called The Last Stop. It's totally independent, which by the way, why it was made. There's never going to be a mainstream documentary or book about fucking Elon. There just isn't because this guy somehow escapes everything. He's a duck in a raincoat. I just was shocked when I just typed in. I had to stumble on the fact that this woman wrote this book. I like asked like Google like, is there any scholarly book on Elan School? To be fair, this wasn't scholarly, but is there like a good book on Elan School? And no, it didn't come up with anything. I had to. It's more specifically about Joe Ritchie. That's why it didn't come up.
Right. Which, I mean, who would have thought there would be this much about Joe Ritchie, but he did not make it hard to, you know,
Yeah.
pile up paper about it with his name on it. Between Synanon and his rise there, Daytop, and being the one that they give the, you know, they commission or they trust to head
Yeah.
this
Be the
offshoot
face of
group,
it. Yeah.
and handle a lot of money. He's not in the mob, and don't you dare say that. What a baby.
Right. So we talk about that right now.
I'm not in the mob. I'm Jewish.
I'm
Like,
Sicilian. I'm surprised he didn't pull that card. That would have been genius.
I'm not Italian. I'm Sicilian.
I'm perverted. Italian, I'm perverted.
Oh, that's so the
You know what I'm
Cuomo,
referencing, right? The
Cuomo. Yeah,
Cuomo,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Kumo,
yeah.
yeah.
That's so funny. For those who don't know, Andrew Cuomo
Andrew
equates
Kumo.
can't distinguish between being from a what do you call it? Open and amorous culture and uh groping
Being
people.
lewd, yeah.
Yeah.
Being lewd with coworkers.
Golly.
But yeah,
Um
so
so Joe Ritchie ducking a raincoat, he's scooting, he's skating, and that
yeah,
came out in
so
91. So that was already well after his yeah, there was quite a lot to
yes.
say at that point.
Yeah. In fact, he wrote in like the afterword, he apparently reached out to this woman to say like, "Don't worry, I'm not going to sue you. I'm actually not even mad at you. I'm mad at Davidson for providing the most damning information about me in the book."
Oh, interesting.
Interesting indeed. I thought that was very peculiar. In
Which means
fact,
look at everything Davidson says.
Really though,
Yeah.
Davidson insisted on her reading these like medical texts about psychopathy, by the way,
Mm.
to be so you just so you can understand that Joe Ritchie is totally a psychopath. He took she which by the way, I don't know, psychopath is like one of those terms that is like very loaded with MK Ultra or with Program to Kill stuff. You know what I mean? That term,
How do you mean?
psychopath.
How do you mean? Like
But I mean, it's utilized in that again that like the whole Ewan Cameron, isn't it utilized in the Ewan Cameron sort of psychological world framework rather?
right, right, as a way to
Be
uh
like, yeah, so this person has original sin, we can do whatever we want to them.
yeah. Look at him. Look at how he screams and pisses himself when we shock and burn
Yeah. Well,
him.
that's
Yeah.
what they said to that Steve Smith guy at in the Canadian thing where they were like, "We think you're a psychopath, so that's why you belong here. Now we can do whatever we want to you. Put you in a weird, very technologically advanced observation dome where you'll be raped by another inmate repeatedly."
Man, don't nobody go anywhere. Don't leave the house. Don't send anybody anywhere. Don't sign up for anything. Don't take your wallet out of your pocket.
Just don't mess it. In matters of the brain, you just don't mess with it.
No, man, it's and I want to say this on the show. I don't know if we got to mention it, but let's harken back to the Blue Suede Jew episode. For those who
Yeah,
aren't
shouts
familiar, go
out.
check that out on our
Substack.
Substack.com. But the mother in that documentary says, "Oh, the ghost of Elvis told me to give my son Ritalin, so now
Yeah.
he's calm." It's like people are looking for an excuse. They'll take it from anywhere. They'll make up whatever. And you can blame Richie and Davidson and you can blame the staff but
Synanon even.
Synanon, George W. Bush, whoever. But at the end of the day, like who failed these kids before Elon was even a thing? It was likely their families. Uh,
Yes.
and that's the answer to that is
And then
uh,
there's other, but again, the Mike David situation, I do have empathy for Mike David, like, because like he seemingly didn't deserve to go to, I mean, like clearly wasn't the caliber of kids that Elon was created for. You know what I mean?
right.
There's like a non-zero amount of kids who are just having trouble in school and not going to class, who ended up becoming literally, quite literally MK Ultra into being a cruel, abusive shadow of the child they once were,
Yeah.
and then leads them to have a career of just drinking on camera for 7 hours at a time and like over analyzing the body language of like B-list comedians. Like
Oh, now I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
His thing was truancy, red bar.
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
I
Yeah.
mean, how bad, man, that's the thing is how many kids end up in jail or worse because they don't want to go to school?
I didn't want
What?
to go to school. If they had told me I had to go to Elan, I would have been to every class.
Yeah. But how about this? Like, let the children work. They yearn for the mines, as you know, the memes have circulated around saying.
Yeah.
But, uh,
Yeah,
there is
I think
something
there's this. You're
sick.
you're onto something. You're joking, but in the
Real.
same breath,
I'm
if
not
there's like a
joking.
kid who's consistently just doesn't like school, why don't you try him doing work?
Hmm.
Just give it a fucking whirl. There's a there's a slight chance it'll work out.
Be yeah better than
Elon.
your current odds.
Yeah.
Or yeah. Yeah. How about this? You don't have to spend a dime. In fact, you can make one. Get a jump on things.
Yeah.
Uh, send the troubled youths to Volk schools. But maybe watch the edged weapon. Anything with blade on it. You watch it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so I want to talk about I feel like we're missing aspects of the treatment we need to talk about. We
I
got the
mean,
signs, we got the costumes. Oh yeah, they would dress like if a girl like talked to a boy, they'd be like, she's a whore. And they
mhm.
dress her up like literally like a streetwalker and shit like that. And
Make
wear
her
a sign that
perform.
says why I'm a whore. Like I'm a worthless whore or something, a sign that
Yeah,
says that.
and make them perform in front of
And by
the.
the way, these were all girls who were molested. You know what I mean? Like, so obviously they're oversexed, you know?
What a misery.
Especially when they were faced with kids their own age. You know what I mean? Like, it's if that boundary's been broken for a child and then you're faced with other damaged kids where that boundary's been broken, like, what do
And
you
then you
think's going to
put,
happen? It's
and
just,
then
and
you
then the point of that is, though, the point of that is just so then they can punish them. So they break them down further and eliminate what they view as a negative. I mean, it isn't, I mean, listen, it's antisocial behavior. I agree with that. But that's just not the way you treat that. It's like destroying the human being that possesses the antisocial behavior and rebuilding. That's not good.
no. Yeah. And it's so funny how we've had to relearn all of these lessons in the past couple hundred years, few hundred years. Ever since the scientific revolution, it's like
Hmm.
we have to do all this over again. We have to go all of the because let's not Scott, I don't think you'll disagree with me here that the pagan, mythologies and
Hmm.
were not nonsense based on nothing. They had a coherent
A
internal
function.
logic, and
Yes.
they functioned like a mechanism, like a
Hmm.
tool. It's something that works every time, and so w- you know we're leaving it to uh pitifully indebted and like brain broken by pop culture 22-year-old like women with vocal fry to help your kid. Yeah, what are you talking about? And oh man, the one staff member that had the gall to show their face
Yeah.
in that
Oh, that lesbian
documentary.
lady. Yeah.
Yeah. She had that same attitude that all those teachers I knew over the years, the ones who in one hand would call themselves, funny enough, the lunchroom Nazi, because you're not gonna mess around in my lunchroom, but also we're so proud of how the kids they trust me, they come to me. I I really don't find anything redeeming in people who take such joy in just regular public schooling.
Yeah.
Never mind this.
This is another level, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, obviously they trust you. You're the only sense of authority. You're the only thing stable, and the only person who's like gonna actually definitely not hit you. Like is the adult who works at the school. You know what I mean? Like all the other students are considered like enemies essentially. You're on
Right.
your own, you know?
What a horror. How, let me ask you this. What would you have done if you can even fathom it, you know, from sitting here now? Would you have run? Would you have, done what you had to do? Would you have,
I don't
tried
even
to
want to put myself in that situation.
I've
Like
been there. I've been in this position. I've been in this situation in my head for the past week. It's
I
blowing my
can't even think
brains
it's
out.
it's horrible. It's horrible. It's like just like you might as well be asking me, well, imagine yourself you got captured by a fucking murderer and he killed you.
Yeah,
Same
pick a
thing.
serial killer to capture you. Which one would it be?
Yeah,
Uh,
none. How about I'm
um,
doing none of them? Elan
hell yeah!
Military Academy. How about I'm doing none of them?
Shout out Charles Carroll there. Fucking A. Dude, no. I frankly shouts out to Randall Hoffman, who ran, did not,
And stay
was not.
randed for 3 years.
He found a hermit in the woods who taught him how to survive. And he lived in the woods for years and just wandered out one day. And
They
now
stopped
he,
had stopped looking at him, looking for him at that point.
yeah,
No, okay,
the,
that's what his recall of it is, by the way. I wonder what the real story is, because like I don't know,
I
that
don't
seems
want
a
to
little
know.
mythological to me, honestly.
Yeah, real raised by wolves shit. But hey, I am not interested in Mr. Hoffman's story being any worse than it probably already was.
Yeah,
I mean, there was that young lady who ran and was picked up by a truck driver who proceeded to
rape and
rape and
murder
kill
her,
her.
yeah.
And he'd done that to a dozen some women already. That's an
I
interesting
wonder what
thing.
that whole situation is. Truck
Uh,
driver, you say?
hmm,
And he raped and murdered several women, and it's tied to the Elan School?
mm,
No, can't
mm.
be.
Well, Scott, I mean, it's nothing too suspicious. It's not like you can traffic a bunch of stuff in the back of a 18-wheeler or anything.
Right. Or I mean
It's
also just
it's
like
not
he
what
could
those are
be like a
for.
Henry Lee Lucas situation where they're like, okay, say this he did this guy did that too.
Dude, no, but I mean, these
So okay, let's put the fine point. I mean, we kind of just glazed over this. A girl
go
ran
ahead.
away from this place in the 80s and was picked up by a hitchhiker who was a truck driver who this is the official story. Officially, a truck driver picked her up, raped and murdered her, and left a really obvious trail to himself where it was later exposed that he had killed a bunch of other women. Why didn't
Not
he
the
leave an obvious trail to himself all the other times? That begs the question, of course.
because his ticket was punched. His time was up. He'd
Yeah.
proven he'd asked for a raise when he was in no position to. Shit like that. The same shit that happens to you and anybody at work happens much quicker and darker and dirtier and
Yeah.
in that economy, uh that dark economy. But not the only Moira in this story.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh,
Kennedy.
there's a kid who got first. There's the ring. The kid who died in the ring, of course.
Yeah, which a collective murder, like the way all things begin. Uh, then
Which one are
there's
you talking about? I probably forgot. I
Skakel.
slipped my memory. Oh, geez, did
Yeah,
forget
buddy.
about this too. Yeah. So, for those who don't know who the Skakels are, it's
Rest in peace,
RFK's widow,
nephew. Yeah, yeah.
RFK's widow's brother, correct?
I believe he was a nephew, a first nephew. Like,
RFK's nephew, meaning
yeah.
so he's RFK's ex-wife's brother's family.
Okay.
The
All right,
Skakels
yeah.
is them.
So one removed,
Yeah.
1 degree removed.
They're still like very close with the Kennedys right now. I
And
actually my
richer,
there's a
by the way.
yeah, I happen to know in the jewelry business, I know a lady who owns a pearl and bead store. And I've done work for engraving sometimes for them. And she would always talk about how she knew the Skakels and would go to the Skakel compound and stuff like that.
I'm going to the hearing today. I
No,
want to
I don't
get
know
there
if she knew that
early.
Skakel.
That's so funny.
But also,
Now
by the way,
talk.
there's this another little connection here is there's a guy named Earl Skakel, who is a stand-up comedian
Okay.
and appeared many, many times on the Misery Loves Company podcast with Kevin Brennan.
Huh.
Close
What?
friend of Jim Florentine, if I'm not mistaken, as well.
Hmm. Well, hey, I mean, there's there's several degrees removed from the money, and then you end up on whatever the hell that is
Yeah. Well, anyway, so
in
but
hot water or whatever.
Michael Skakel, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Michael Skakel was a troubled Skakel,
Mhm.
and he had found himself in Elan. And while he was there, he evidently admitted to the murder of a girl named Martha Moxley in the early
Hmm.
80s, uh, who died
75.
on the night before in Massachusetts. I think it was on the Cape, probably.
Greenwich, Connecticut. Sorry, I'm
Greenwich,
correcting
Connecticut.
you in
Thank
real
you.
time. I looked it up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I would have guessed that it was on the Cape, to be honest. Um,
No, that's where the Kennedys do their dirt.
True, yeah. I was thinking, yeah, because of the Chappaquiddick Bridge thing.
Yeah, never
Um,
forget.
but what I was gonna say though, so yeah, so Martha Moxley, unsolved murder for many, 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 many years. It happened in the early '80s, and Michael Skakel did not face repercussions for this until 2002. Um, but evidently, there was while he spent time at the
Go on.
Elan, he admitted during his guilt letter and also like in many group sessions that he had killed her. And then there was like a whole drama about him admitting whether he had did it or not. And he said, no, I didn't do it a bunch. And then people would say, you did do it. You did do it. And would like, scream at him and shit like that. And
That's
evidently
what the guy who did do it would say.
yeah, Joe Ritchie knew about this too. He said something. He evidently was present at one of these meetings. That's what was alleged in court, as I understand it, in 2002.
Mm.
And he was dead at this point, so he couldn't answer for it. But yeah, so I don't know that's a whole thing. I guess he has gotten out since they had a retrial of his, and they actually found the testimony of the Elan kids to be not uh worthy of conviction level, but he
Well,
served several years in prison, and he now walks a free man, as any Kennedy related person might if they killed somebody with a golf club after raping them. Also, where are the DNA evidence on that? That's the other thing I never found
well,
out.
her pants were ripped off, but there was no evidence of a sexual assault, apparently.
Sure.
Because if there was evidence of a sexual assault, there'd have to be investigation into that, and then there'd have to be something, you know, a finger
DNA
pointed.
evidence. Yeah.
Now the his brother was the prime suspect for a minute, but then
Right, because he
by
had
the
asked her, he
time,
had been seen with her earlier in the night. Yeah.
by the time that
The
by the
murder would
time
have happened. He had an alibi.
and and then by the time people are starting to talk about him as the potential murderer, he's already in a line.
Yeah.
Uh,
Michael.
so
Yeah.
yeah, and then the court called into question the credibility of, people's testimony because he admitted he killed her during a ring session. So
Yeah.
he's getting the shit kicked out of him, and it took hours for him to go from no, 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 maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's all up in the air. It's all very dirty and ugly. I
Yes.
don't care for it.
I don't care for it
I like
either.
Answers, neat little
Yeah.
bows,
Rest in peace,
Martha
Martha
Moxley.
Moxley, I guess. Yeah. We'll probably never find out the true extent of that story, but I'm assuming Michael Skakel did kill her, right? Are we on the same page with that? I mean, come on. Who else would it be?
Uh, I wasn't there, so I'll never know. But I do know this: the same whoever killed her, the same
Well, people
spirit
who are
inhabited them.
guilty and evil get away with it, and people who are innocent and didn't do it end up in jail for the rest of their lives, and he's out of jail.
I don't know. It's complicated. Well, why, if he didn't do it, or if he did do it, and the idea was that he wouldn't have to answer for it, why does he sit and stir for so long? Is that a slap on the wrist? Like, hey, dipshit, get it together. Clean up after yourself. We're Kennedys. We're Skakels. We're not like those dirty freaking Kennedys
Yeah, I
bootlegging
don't know.
Irish shit. Um, uh, it's some, do you only have so many favors? Do you have a numbered list of favors that you have to get to? And Michael Skakel's about 48 on that, so you get to it when you get
Yeah,
to it.
I don't
Um,
know.
was that just, did he not do it? But that was a way of sticking it to the very, very industrious Skakel family. by some interested party. Who knows? There's the machinations. You don't want to stick your hand in them.
No, you
That's for
don't.
fucking sure.
Yeah, so we talked about the ring, we talked about encounter groups, electric sauce,
And there's
which
still
is the
more.
shit water. Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think the signs, the costumes, what happens when you run away. Oh yeah, they dispatch trackers to you if you run away. Yeah.
The truck driver thing is what made back to trackers, yes, because that's what I think that was.
It could be.
You
I'm not
know,
ruling it out for
like
certain.
because they would send students, maybe a staff member with them, to go out looking for you in a Pinto or
Yeah.
freaking and they just pull up on you, drag you into the car as non-violently as possible, but if
It reminds me
necessary,
of Who Took Johnny.
yeah, it
It
should.
does. An adult and a child in a car taking another child. Yeah.
Yeah, uh, it should remind us of who took Johnny. Um, but the fact that they would yeah, sorry, before we were talking about
Oh yeah, I was trying to list all the other things. I feel like we're missing stuff. So yeah, the sitting in the corner, the layers, oh, the strength, non-strength. You're allowed to talk once you get down, when you get further and further up. I do believe you moved up in the ranks, the more sadistic behavior you possessed, probably, right?
yes. Oh, well,
Has to
yeah.
be.
And you would be called out. Here's the thing. You would be called
Oh,
out,
shot down. When you
yes,
got
shot
caught doing
down,
something you weren't supposed to do, you got shot down.
demoted, basically.
Yeah.
But uh
But with 70s cool Synanon lingo,
hey man,
you got shot down.
I will say this. It looked like they let you smoke cigarettes in there, which was
They did, yeah.
nah, all right, now
And if you've ever been to detox or rehab, it's like a
oh
fixture,
yeah.
the
Coffee and
smoking aspect
cigarettes.
of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll
I
cure
picked up
anything.
smoking in detox again. I hadn't smoked for like 3 or 4 years. And
When in Rome,
yeah, I did. And I smoked again for another 2 years after that.
those were good years, Scott.
No, they weren't. They were
Oh,
bad.
all right, never
I
mind.
hid it. I was secret smoking.
That's a wait, what do they
It's a
call it?
balancing act.
Oh, yeah, no. Have no shame, my friend. That's what I say.
I
But
wasn't.
sorry, go ahead.
Oh, but
Um,
anyway, I was just gonna say though, yeah. I'm just trying to think if there's any other things about it before we move on to the more Joe Ritchie stuff.
the shot down shit where basically I think this is important because if you are the way it's pitched to you, at least the stated structure of the place is you get out when you're ready. And we know you're ready when you get to the top level of the
Of the pyramid,
hierarchy.
yeah.
And so if you're shot down for anything, and it could be something that's not true, it could be something minuscule, it could be something that's, just done by someone that doesn't like you. They throw that in somebody's ear, and then you have to answer for it. Uh, that could lead people to become especially ruthless and unforgiving, and uh, because God forbid they get
Yeah, that's the prisoner's
lose their
dilemma. I'm pretty
progress.
sure. I think it's prisoner. That's what the definition of the prisoner's dilemma is: the idea that you become a vicious animal because you're put in a situation where you have to find bad behavior in order to get good outcomes for yourself.
Yeah, snitching rewarded, uh, is a given. So you could not trust anyone, the people that you're supposed to trust.
Yeah, that's the whole point, is that
Well,
you lose your identity to the paranoia and fear of reprisal. Oh yeah, they one of the things they would do is that they would just have you dig a ditch and then refill the ditch at the end of the day.
now we're talking. I could do that.
Yeah.
I could do that.
I mean, that seems like, I mean, that's still miserable, dude. Especially like one of the things they like make you wear a winter coat in the summer and dig a ditch.
All right. I'm not yelling at the little blind retarded girl. So I'll go dig a ditch.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Joe Ritchie to walk in the room so I can
They were like,
bite him on the
can't
neck.
they fill an entire wheelbarrow up of big rocks at the lake and then or the river, bring it up the highest hill, and then bring it back down and put them all in the water again.
Look, Ma, I'm
Literal. I
Sisyphus.
was just gonna say literal Sisyphus shit.
Uh, God, you want to act like Sisyphus? You're going to get treated like
Like
Sisyphus.
Sisyphus, yeah. Um,
Oh, God.
is there a part where is there one where you stand in a river waist deep and there's a tree hanging with a piece of fruit over your head that always extends just barely far away so you can't eat it, and if you reach to take a drink, the water shrinks down below too low for you to reach?
Oh, my God. That,
That's another Greek myth.
oh,
I believe the
golly.
guy Tantalus was a guy. That's where the word tantalizing comes from, of course. But Tantalus was a guy who was punished in Hades by a hanging piece of fruit that would dangle just over his mouth for eternity, so that he could not eat.
You know, after 700 years, I don't even like fruit anymore. I don't even want it. You can have it.
But no water too. That sounds miserable.
I'm
Oh,
dead.
he's cursed to want to be thirsty though.
Quit imposing terrestrial material.
That's the part where it's hell.
I guess hell is a an ability to loose yourself from the material plane or
Yes,
coil or
right.
checks out. Uh,
Anyway, let's
Beats a
talk
bunny
about
costume.
yeah.
I'm not gonna
Let's talk
look
about
like
the
a
Joe
fool.
Ritchie controversies. So, okay,
He
in
was the
the
best guy around. What murder?
yeah, so he got some money. He was obviously making shitloads of money. In the early 80s, he was pulling in $250,000 a year. In the early 80s. By the end of the 80s, he was making $750,000 a year at Elan. This is his IRS income, by the way. So he's being taxed at $750,000 a year by the end of the 80s. Now, he obviously had a lot of money, and he was about to go through a divorce with his first wife, and he tried to save the marriage by getting her to become a co-investor with her in the Scarborough Downs racetrack in Scarborough, Maine, just outside Portland. And she said, "I can't fucking stand you. I hate you. Leave me alone. I never want to speak to you again." Instead, he went into business with who? Jerry Davidson.
If only that woman. And that's why divorce is not the answer, folks. If that woman had just stayed long
Yeah.
enough, maybe this might not have ever. I said this to you, Scott, but I'll say it again because I think I mean it. It's guys like uh, Joe Ritchie that make me glad cigarettes can kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He was this big
because
smoker. Yeah.
this guy flew for way too long.
Yeah.
2001, he died.
But yeah, so he bought this. So first of all, he's supposedly very insulted by the insinuation that he's an organized crime, and yet he buys a fucking racetrack. By the
And
way,
then,
it's not just a racetrack, it's a harness racetrack, which is known for being way easier to fix. Now, I don't know
yeah,
the mechanics of it, but as I understand it, the way it works is the fact that it's like a little chariot. It's like literally like a little chariot race,
yeah,
essentially. And because there's like wheels and like there's a lot of like the sides of the chariot thing, there's a lot of ways in which you could mess with it as opposed to a guy on a horse. Pretty
yeah,
pure, kind of hard to screw with.
yeah.
And yeah, it's just it's known for being fixable. In fact, in this book, by the way, he there's a bunch of stories about how he would like never lose when he bet at his own racetrack, and also he would guarantee that VIPs would win that night. He said, "Just ask me. I know everything about these horses and shit." By the way, it's illegal for him to bet at the racetrack, if I'm not mistaken, if you're the owner.
What are you, a narc? Come on, Scott. Be cool, man. Uh,
Uh, but
what a
yeah, so he bought
weird.
Scarborough Downs. What's that?
It's so funny. It's like, so Joe, where you heading off to so early? The race is just getting started. Going to this be adolescent behavioral camp that I run in the woods.
Yeah,
Joe, that's a weird thing for you to say. You're an
very.
Italian guy.
Yeah,
What do you know about emotional maturity?
really.
Sorry.
I love my mother.
Sorry to all our
That's
WAP
a,
listeners.
yeah. Oh, the Italian behavioral science is all just you gotta give respect to your mother.
Hey, hey, hey. You say what you want, but you call
About
your
me.
mother.
But don't you, if you say something about my friends, you could rape me, murder me, shoot me in the face,
S-
sodomize me, spit in
Step on
my
my
mouth.
shoes, spit in my eye,
You say
spit up
something
my
about my
nose.
friends.
Hey, but you call me a liar?
Yeah.
You
Well,
call
anyway,
me a
so he
hypocrite?
so okay, so this happens. He owns the shit. Obviously, he's a fucking. First of all, if he is tied in with some sort of U.S. intelligence operation, as I assume he is, what is the differentiation between that and quote organized crime?
Here, here, Scott. Here, here.
This the sound is not working. He's clapping. So it
Ah,
just sounded like just dead air. Still nothing, buddy.
are you? I don't.
Absolutely nothing.
Are you serious? It like what? It's outside the range that it's
I
supposed to pick
guess
up.
I don't know. He's clapping. He was clapping though for the folks at home.
No one believes
Um,
you, Scott. Nobody clapped.
yeah,
This
I
isn't
know.
Reddit.
Yeah. What's it called?
Uh,
So that happens, and then also another thing is he again. So I mentioned before the Sebago Elan one. He burned that down for Jewish lightning. He does it again with the clubhouse at the which by the way is very old and needed repairs. Of course, it was going to be
yeah,
very expensive to build a new one, and there was inferior like lighting or inferior power and stuff like that. And this happens, and he but there wasn't an investigation by the this part I didn't I sent you a screenshot of the book here, but it's quite interesting. This guy named Tony Fisher, and it's spelled with the
SCH.
the yeah, SCH, yes, which
Gotcha.
way you think it might be.
You're not English.
Yeah, and so the Maine State Police issued a redacted copy of this interrogation to the author of this book, Maura, whatever her name is, and
Curly.
Maura Curley. Thank you. So apparently, the this guy Fisher had been interviewed by Richie to be the head of security for the Scarborough Downs racetrack. Um, and he said to him, but so in the course of this interview, he ended up just asking him questions about how to commit arson, essentially. And I'm going to read you the transcript of this couple things, but I also want to just give a little background here. Part of this was that he was doing a one-off odd job for him to go into the Maine Health and Human Services Bureau, I believe, and walk into an office and say, "Hi, I'm here on behalf of so and so, not Joe Ritchie," and get a piece of paper, a form, in fact, or a memo, and bring it somewhere where Joe Ritchie could look at it, and then take it back somewhere else, drop it off somewhere. This was part of this whole thing, and this is the thing. This report, this transcript, is heavily redacted, so we don't have a full picture of what actually went down. Now, the question is, this is the Maine State Police declined to pursue arson charges on Ritchie for this, even though they have an interview here that indicates that at least there's circumstantial evidence to indicate that he was asking this guy about arson and also some other weird dealing about delivering a piece of paperwork that he was not supposed to have, and was Richie was apoplectic at the idea of anyone finding out that he had seen. So let me just read you this transcript here.
I'm gonna play a part.
No, I'll just read it.
All right.
The following, so it says, when Fisher arrived at the attorney's office, he said that the law office receptionist was also expecting him. An attorney who called Joe Ritchie on the phone arranged the meeting. So an attorney arranged him to have this meeting with the guy, with Ritchie. at the Sonesta Hotel that evening. The following transcripts of Fisher's meeting with the detectives describe his meeting with Joe Ritchie. Some sentences were censored by Maine State Police in the report provided to me.
Why?
Great question. Fisher, he pulled up and he was in a Mercedes two-seat coupe, real expensive job. He got right out, and I had told Redacted if I was going to meet with Richie, I wanted to do it alone, right? That the guy makes me nervous. You hear things. Then we sat down and we were talking back and forth, right? Back and forth, right? And he mentioned to me that the governor wanted his Scarborough Downs to build an ethanol plant on because his Downs has an exit right off from the highway. Some stupid, silly, bogus thing like that. He told me that the state police were investigating him for the arson of some restaurant, and he told me something that kind of made my hair rise a little bit. He told me that Redacted had told him that I had, done some shit on the side for the FBI when I was with Redacted. I asked him how he knew that. He told me Redacted was on his payroll. So, I figured he's a person, who's got some inroads to that kind of shit. He asked me all about Redacted. And subsequently, of course, the conversation I told him about the book that me and Redacted had written on, the bombings. I told him I had helped write that book. Somewhere in the course of that conversation, we were talking about, fires and how to do it and get away with it and all this, that, and the other. He told me he was picking my brains because he had an idea. And at the end of the conversation, he offered me a job, head of security at Scarborough Downs. I told him I'd think about it. He gave me a ride home to Raymond that night. Raymond, Maine, by the way. Then the next time I saw him when he came up to the house terrorizing, all pissed off, that file was never delivered back to the Department of Health and Human Services. Okay, so he was supposed to deliver the paper back, and he got high and forgot. I didn't include this part of the screenshot, but he got high and forgot to go back to fucking drop it off.
Whomst amongst us has not slipped on the drop every now and then.
True.
No, you don't mess up like that. My children never knew they were Italian before all this, he says. It's very funny.
Yeah, so apparently also he had a big falling out with his kids too, when they were 13 and 11, in which he tried to do Elan shit to him and do the wall, like the corner thing to him. And in the process of it, he like banged the kid's head into the wall. This is alleged. There was no charges brought or anything, but it is a fact that he did never really mended his relationship after that falling out occurred. Also, apparently, he like produced from somewhere, whether it was with the kids or not, but he found Playboy magazines and lit them in fire in front of them. That's part of the allegations as well.
For what, Joe?
I don't know.
What are you doing, Joe?
Yeah,
Just
this
play
was during
catch
this whole
with
time
them.
period in which he was doing like, had the private plane and the cocaine, and he was running for governor. Oh yeah, so the governor. Well,
The
okay.
cocaine on the
So the
plane,
place
right?
burns down. So this is important. So I reason I even brought up the arson of Scarborough Downs clubhouse, which by the way, he also like he fucking literally on the I believe it was on the 60 Minutes piece where he goes, I was so lucky that the wind was just right that night that it didn't burn the grandstands down. It just only burned down the clubhouse. The God was really looking out for me that night.
Oh yeah, I bet you felt like the chosen person that evening, didn't you, Joseph? I
But
thought that 60 minute spot was so funny because it felt like every single time it cut from Joe Ritchie back to the interviewer, Ed Beakley, is it?
uh, yeah,
Whatever.
I forget what the guy's name, but the black dude from 60
Yeah.
Minutes.
He
Yeah.
was always like just in a different position,
Yeah.
just
I think
scrutinizing him.
that's just a style or
It was very
whatever.
funny. It was very
Yeah,
funny.
60 Minutes for those who don't know is like the CIA TV show, by the way. Um
Yeah, that's
CBS
what's
first of all is like the CIA's television station. And it but 60 Minutes particularly has always been like very egregious in pushing CIA talking points. And it's even got like a hypnotic MK Ultra style. Plus, I mean, Andy Rooney, that guy's a real spookeroony, huh?
Andy Rooney makes Wayne Brady look like uh Brian Gumble. No, is that?
Is that from Chappelle's show or something?
Yeah, yeah. I've had
I
Chappelle show
thought
on the
so.
mind the past few
You know,
days.
I gotta say, I watched it like a couple years ago. Well, many times throughout the last 10 years. I've rewatched it now and again, and like 50% of the show is like filler that is totally dated, and I like found funny at the time because it was like a current reference it was making fun
Yeah,
of, but now is like, what the fuck is this? Like, the thing where the Oscars playing the music over people's speeches, like that is such a dated
yeah.
observational comedian thing to talk about
Well,
now.
I mean, yeah, I know what you mean. I think that I don't know. For it to be as popular as it got in the time, it's like it had to be sort of
Yeah, there was good
contemporary and in the moment
sketches that were
because
very
it didn't
good.
feel like it was ever going to stop, you know?
Yeah.
But one of the best jokes. Negrodamus, what's going to happen to Star Jones? Who's talking about Star Jones will have two jobs. She will host The View, then take off her wig and do the weather, which is
Oh,
very
really?
funny. It's
Yeah.
pretty funny, even though
Yeah.
who the hell knows who Star Jones is
I
anymore?
I mean I know who she is, but that is a very dated reference. Or how about that Lexus commercial with the girl with the newsboy cap going like, remember that? The commercial? You probably actually don't remember
Vaguely.
the commercial. Yeah, all
I
right. But
might
there's a
not
segment in the
really.
show where like I was like, wow, I forgot about that commercial. I can't believe they did a whole sketch around this as the punchline is, hey, do you remember that commercial? All right, enough about Chappelle's show though. Speaking of
Never
MK
mind the
Ultra though,
palate cleanser. Not really, but would you say? Yeah, they tried to.
I'm saying
Uh,
they disappeared him, and
I
then
don't
who
know
knows if
where.
it's even the same guy anymore.
I don't
Doesn't
know where
look
Dave
quite the
Chappelle
same.
begins and ends anymore. To be honest, no. Uh,
Anyway, I'm
Nothing's
sorry I
real
got
but my
sidetracked,
pal
but
Scott. That's
the
all I know.
so that whole arson thing happened, and in the wake of that, uh the so insurance paid out, of course, and paid for a replacement of the clubhouse. It took a couple years, but in the interim, Richie and Davidson sought a loan from I don't it was like Central Deposit Bank in Portland, which would later reform into the Key Bank in Portland, and it is officially to this day, I believe, the largest bank in Maine. Um, Maybe not. At the time of that book, anyway, it was.
I've seen a
Uh,
lot of key banks in Maine, so it's
you
not
have okay.
that
There you go, folks. But yeah, so
right from the retard's mouth.
they were doing so. See if you can correct me if I get anything wrong here with the whole timeline of this. But basically, they were like restructuring the bank, and so they had like extra scrutiny from regulators or something. And the Ritchie and Davidson asked for a new $135,000 loan for something. I don't know what it was. They don't. I don't think it's part of the public record
Hey,
either.
hey, don't want the less you know, the better.
But they were the biggest account hold. Their biggest. They had the biggest line of credit on the entire bank, and indeed, they had the biggest line of credit in all of Maine, I think. Now, when they went to go take another line of credit. Now, meanwhile, by the way, I just want to say, fiscally speaking, they should have been able to take this loan because they were getting, like I said, millions of dollars
Yeah,
illegitimately from this fucking Elan torture
yeah,
camp.
yeah. They're flush. A buck
They were
30. Give it
definitely
to
able to
them.
finance that whatever loan was given to them, you know. So the
Just
owner
needed
of
a
it
gap
though
loan.
knew about this whole Jewish lightning thing with the Scarborough Downs, and he was like, "Can we like look into these guys?" And they contacted the FBI, and the FBI furnished them with some information which may or may not have been intentionally false. Or may have been
Ooh,
true. I don't know. That's the problem with this murky fucking Joe Ritchie
mm,
guy. So
yeah,
there was
yeah.
an insinuation that
An
um,
insinuation.
little Joe Napolitano, who was one of the higher up ranking bosses of the National Crime Syndicate in
Mr.
New
Glass.
England, had been assassinated in Portland the year prior. and it was a big news item. Usually, this kind of stuff doesn't happen in Maine. And the FBI furnished a report to the off CFO in at the key what would become the key bank that they believed that that Joe Ritchie might have some responsibility for it and or called the hit. Um, and they, as a result, they sent him a letter saying that we do not want to extend this loan to you based
We're not
off of
friends anymore.
several layers of risk, and there's no point in us having a meeting about it because we don't think it'd be productive. For very true of
Yeah.
anything that Joe Ritchie is involved in, by the way,
Also,
because
we're
he tends
afraid.
to blow up on you.
Oh yeah. Who would have thought that Joe Ritchie of the Elan School has a hard time regulating his emotions?
Yeah,
Uh, jeez. So,
but
but
yeah,
yeah,
so
so he lost the lawsuit and then had to pay, right?
no, but it's way more complicated than that because he did run for governor during this time period. It
Yeah.
was very tied up in the lawsuit. In fact, his detractors in the gubernatorial race all said there's no reason he doesn't actually want to be governor. He just wants to get publicity for his lawsuit.
And see if the skim can be directed toward his legal funds, probably. For
Whatever
I
it is, yeah.
I swear when we watch these people who really think they're going to be president on TV, I see
Yeah.
those people and I go, they're working off a favor. They're there
Yeah.
to funnel money to be a conduit for whatever. So,
Whatever the real op is, yeah.
yeah, because most of them know they're not going to be president. Or, in this case, he knew he
It's
wasn't
way
going to
more
be governor.
complicated too than this because there was like several continuances and like changes of judge. Like they went through two judges. The first one they accused of being politically biased against him since he was running as a Democrat and the guy was a registered Republican, which is absurd. By the way, I have nothing good to say about federal judges. By the way, I have more to say about it in a few minutes, but I'm just saying that's just a foolish like republic like it's like a magatard take. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like he doesn't you're politically fucking against my party. Like shut the fuck up. That's not how real politics works, first of all. And
Can someone burn this whole building down?
yeah, but the way instead of just throwing the case out, it got sent to it was rejected and he appealed.
Ah.
Yeah, so it went to the next layer.
Which is probably what it had to do. Probably what was, the first one's not going to play ball, or if you want to, fabricate the illusion of some kind of uh, opposition to this suit,
Yeah.
then yeah, it goes through some back and forth, but
Mhm.
ultimately
But yeah, so
shakes
they
out.
went to a third trial, and a folksy African American appointed judge.
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
by the way, I should mention this is federal court. This is kind of an important thing here because federal
And,
court is notoriously corrupt,
and we got Foghorn Leghorn pacing back and forth.
something like that.
Yana.
But well, he was the judge, is the one we're talking about. But regardless, yeah. Let's just think about like the Franklin scandal. All that was federal court. The killing of Karen
Grand
Silkwood,
juries.
federal court. Jeffrey Epstein, federal court. Um, so many examples of this stuff.
Don't
Um,
touch Richie. He belongs to intelligence.
I assume I
Where's
don't know,
that
man.
memo?
It's got to be there. Um, but yeah, he ended up getting paid out $15 million in 1986 or something.
Woo!
And 2 million of which went to Davidson, and like 1.3 million went to legal fees.
That buys
Um,
you a lot of spaghetti and matzo balls
yeah. This guy made out like a
next
fucking
day.
bit. In fact, they also that had also asked for like another $20,000 in punitive damages, and
My heart.
they actually in a pretty intelligent legal maneuver, said, "You know what, Your Honor, drop that. We're willing to concede on any and all punitive damages in order to ensure that we get the damages, like the actual, like
Yeah.
the monetary damage."
Yeah, so they're made to look magnanimous and
Yes, correct.
reasonable
Yeah.
dickheads. Golly, these guys suck.
Um. Yeah.
So yeah, he's coasting off a cool 15 mil or whatever. And that's what 80,
It's late 80s. Yeah.
yeah, 89, I think. But Elon's riding high. Now, when does he lose Davidson? That's in 91, I believe, right?
91. Yeah.
Yeah.
Davidson's dying. And he started, I believe they just had like they had like money disagreements essentially.
Richie, you're
Um,
making my tummy hurt.
but yeah, but the woman who wrote this book like not cornered, but like got a bunch of dirt on Davidson or on sorry on Richie through Davidson, and she also interviewed that Schwartz guy too, by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, who's interested? I got
Believe.
to look into him too.
First name Schwartz. Do you
Interestingly,
remember?
not mentioned. I'll
No
look through the
shit.
book. I'll look through the book actually. I don't
Okay, all
remember.
right. Why
Uh,
why would the Maine State Police want to redact
I don't
the
understand. I mean,
name
there's so many.
of the third party involved in these chicaneries?
I don't know.
Strange.
Yeah. So, but anyway, we were sort of speculating that it's possible that that federal money was like sort of like a maybe this is your last payout kind of thing.
Mm,
We're sunsetting this operation. You can make whatever you can on it in the future. Just stay open or whatever.
yeah.
And it could be like a services rendered
Yeah.
sort of situation. I don't know, speculating obviously, but it's just a very peculiar. In fact, the woman interviewed the judge, the black dude, and she said like, "Did you think he was going to win?" And he said, "Absolutely not." The jury had ruled in favor of him, and the guy was like, "Fine, I guess." Like,
Wow. All of you really?
so I don't know if we were very clear
There's
about this, but the charge was he sued him in federal court for violating his federal rights for discriminating against him as an Italian.
Before all this, my children never knew they were Italian because we're Americans.
Yeah,
Shut up. Shut up.
60 minutes, man. Oh, I forgot to mention too is that they held they waited 6 months to do this piece.
Mm.
Because I believe that there was insinuation that the governor it was too affecting the governor race. You know what I mean? It'd be too favorable. It would be like CBS saying we endorse Joe fucking Ritchie for governor, essentially.
Yeah,
So
no
they waited
kidding.
till the governor race was over and then they ran it. But that was also in perfect timing to help with the um the jury decide on the trial. Which, by the way, it reminds me of the Franklin scandal, the
Mm.
Alicia Owen trial. 60 Minutes. Dan Rather did a piece on why she's a lying bitch, essentially. Which she's not, by the way. She's not a lying bitch. She's telling the truth.
God bless Alicia Owen and God forgive Dan Rather. But who am I to make demands? It's
What's
not
the
up to me.
frequency, Kenneth?
If he gets to it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't.
Yeah. So what?
Grand juries, federal courts, three judges for one lawsuit. These are the red flags that we look out for that need need to be acknowledged.
Yeah.
It's the smoke to the fire that often is snuffed out by the time we get to where it was.
Right.
This being one of those cases.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there any other like shit we want to talk about the school? Because like again, school, very hilarious to call it a school.
School. Uh, I think there's
Collect
something.
jizz.
What? Oh no! If it's not piss, it's worse.
Listen to this. This is fucking
Uh,
crazy.
this
This was it. So this was the Illinois state. So Illinois, the Illinois. Oh, I didn't even really talk about this. Is that this was also like a industrialized scam where, like, like juvenile court systems in various states would send kids in who had been like the other option is jail or juvie or something. They would send
Ugh.
them to Elan, and then the state taxpayers would
Yep.
pay the exorbitant fucking fees to
You
send these people to fucking
and
Elan to
me.
torture them.
That's us, baby. We paid for that.
But in the capacity of that, that's where that Maxwell, or sorry, that Schwartz guy came into.
Slip of the tongue there.
Yeah, Schwartz guy got sucked into it extensively because they had a huge amount of their income that came from Illinois state juvenile delinquents
Hmm.
being sent there, and then the Illinois state juvenile or Health and Human Services Department sent inspectors there unannounced.
They
Uh,
just showed up.
yeah, and they discovered a lot of bad stuff, including let's just read this. Let's just read this fucking article, this excerpt from the book here. Um, the Illinois investigators wrote that they heard about an adolescent who had been tied to a pole and gagged with a rag. They wrote about a pitcher of chocolate milk which had been dumped over another boy's head. Other forms of punishment include scrubbing a floor with a toothbrush and cleaning toilet bowls with bare hands. The investigators were also appalled by violations of privacy. All incoming mail for residents was intercepted, opened, and read by the Elan staff. If it was determined inappropriate for the resident to read, it was confiscated and the objectionable material deleted. All outgoing mail to parents and others was censored. New residents could not write letters, make or receive phone calls. These activities were considered privileges to be earned. One resident reported he had letter writing privileges but chose not to write letters because he did not want them read by staff. Those who were permitted to make phone calls had their calls monitored. During their 2 day stay at Elan, members of the evaluation team observed group therapy sessions where personal insults and attacks on individual family members were common. They wrote that verbal attacks from the staffers were to the residents included, "You motherfucking whore, you cocksucking, titty sucking, motherfucking asshole." Team
Fuck
members
off.
reported that Elan's resident nurse told them that all new residents were subjected to a strip search. I forgot to mention this earlier. Yeah. The nurse revealed that she got vaginal smears and did rectal exams on new female residents and secured semen residents from new male
What?
residents to test for venereal disease. She said the semen specimen was obtained by giving a boy a small cup, directing him to a private room to masturbate, and return with the sample. The evaluation team conducted physicians in charge of both public and private facilities to determine if masturbation was an acceptable procedure for this. Each physician was shocked, confirming it was not medically acceptable. Nor was Elan's registered nurse dispensing many medications, including controlled pharmaceuticals, without a prescription.
And yeah, we cannot understate the data collection aspect of this. You know, these kinds of methods, I'm sure they were used with much less inhibition
Mm,
in darker places that aren't
yes.
on the map, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, I know this. So that leads me all. I guess we're wrapping up here, but it leads me all to like the question is like, what are we looking at here? Like, what is the op here? I don't know. What I do know is a lot of people suffered needlessly to seemingly profit like a very small group of people, and I don't know where that money went. Who has the money? I know, like, I believe the woman who was his final wife, is still currently owns the Scarborough Downs, but she closed down in 2000. Oh, well, I guess we'll talk about this. In the late 2000s, Reddit sort of hit this. Early 2010s, the Reddit got wind of this, and it became like sort of like a internet sensation. This idea that like Elan survivors would tell their stories, and yeah, I've basically
That
the online campaign
plus
essentially.
the
What's
Michael
that?
Skakel thing,
Oh, the
because in
Michael Skagle, that was
2013 he
huge
got
too. Yeah.
retried. or recent.
Right. So
That's
it became in the public consciousness again, and as such, um, people simply weren't sending their kids anymore. And by the way, I should mention that by this point, most of the states in America stopped sending their juvenile court, charges there.
Illinois, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, etc., all after their own independent investigations that were done not for the benefit of the school, not with
Right.
advance notice. They all realized this is a horror. And in those same years, Maine ran the obligatory inspections and checks that they had
Hmm.
to, but never found, never on paper in Maine, with on Maine State stationery, was any of the shit that was listed in those other
I mean,
states'
I mean
investigations.
that one seems obvious. That's just like a payoff situation, especially with like that story with that Fisher guy going to get a piece of paper. Possibly the memo was like when they were going to be coming. I don't know,
Oh,
like I don't
yeah.
know. It could be that. It could be simple as that.
Yeah, very well could be.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that story he told was that like there was a secretary there who knew he was coming and had the paper out ready for him. So there was people involved in there were getting paid. I mean, with all that money, it seems like obvious, right?
Never interrupt the skim. Never ever.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah, no, it really, and it can't be the only one.
Well,
This
you
cannot,
found that web. What's the name of that website you sent me?
holy goodness. If I can,
There's a very schizo lady online who
oh
made this
man.
website, which is like a sort of spreadsheet of all the states in America and like what the regulations around one of these treatment facilities. And she has like all the explicit connections between Synanon and Daytop and like the Seed organization.
She has lists of different volunteers and staff members over the years. It's incredible, but it's called heal-online.org, as in Hotel Eagle Alpha Lima dash online.org. And it's just a very, very thorough spreadsheet of a lot of really grim information and things that won't surprise you. If you're a fan of the History Homos podcast, hey now,
Yeah.
uh, there's
But
a
again, so
lot.
what can we say about this? Like, what is the? I mean, like, again, it's concerning to me that people. Oh, David and Amy Sedaris. So you're familiar? Oh yeah,
Uh-huh,
I made you
uh-huh.
watch an episode of Strangers with Candy.
Right,
Remember that show?
right,
That's Amy
yes, yes.
Sedaris is the star of that.
No shit, yeah. And
Yeah,
David
and
Sedaris, the author, yeah.
David Sedaris, the author, is her brother. Yeah, and their older sister was an Elan student and later killed herself.
But that's an isolated case, Scott.
Yeah.
It's
But
and
it's alarming to me that you got that, and then it's Michael Skakel, and then you got for
Red
some
Bar.
reason Red Bar is now becoming a figure of note in alternative media. Like I just think it's odd that all these people have been gotten to, you know?
Hmm, hmm. Hey, everybody has their cue. You just got to stay alive long enough to, hit
Yeah,
your
step
mark.
into it. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I think that if I could say anything, it's talk to people, ask them questions that you're uncomfortable asking them. Um, these, if we are not prepared to suffer through some really difficult conversations with people who aren't the most articulate, who are, you know, you, you have to accept that to find the truth of these things, it's going to be coming out of the mouths of the least apparently credible people.
Mm.
And we cannot discount these people.
Yeah, that's the whole like moral of the Franklin scandal is everyone go, oh, no one believes what's his name there, Troy Boner.
Yeah. Drug
Uh
addict. Yeah.
Troy,
What's
yeah,
he?
he was molested and all this stuff. It's like, yes, that's correct. That's
What's your point?
yeah.
Yeah. Holding that
um
against him?
yeah. But my
Judge?
point though is, oh yeah, I don't know. I guess what am I asking here is like there could be so many different ops going on at once in this situation, you know? Like I outlined a few speculative ones, but what I do know is that a lot of people suffered needlessly, and I guess I will say this, and I don't usually get sappy on the show, but my empathy does go out to you people who have suffered through this. I can't imagine how traumatic it was for you.
Amen.
And yeah, I guess like how many here's the other out the speculation too is like how many of these people after oh yeah this is the other there's a whole segment of that Last Stop documentary where all these kids talked about what happened after they got out of Elan,
Yeah.
and all of the ones that were even alive anymore said the second I got out of Elan I got much worse than I was before I went to Elan because I had just spent years in isolation and in abstinence from the stuff that I was doing that got me sent to Elan. So obviously now I've been unleashed on the real world with no um
And you're a legal adult
you're a legal
now.
adult now, right? And so I'm just gonna be my worst self. And most of them
Watch this.
and being that the documentary focuses heavily on people from New England too, by the way. So like heroin and opioids figure heavily into it naturally. Um, and yeah, it's very sad. I mean, it's like very many of the same stories I know from people from my childhood and adolescence that all died the same way, thanks to the Sackler family and the CIA and um, big pharma, I guess, broadly speaking. And the
It's the
other
kind
thing
of
is,
stuff.
yeah.
Sorry. No, I was gonna
Uh,
ruin it by
okay,
saying
well, I was just
something.
gonna say though, the fact is that we're only looking at a sample size of people who survived the after the post Elon experience, and who knows what roads some of them ended up going down. You know, we always talk about these programmed to kill incidents or unexplained murders that have weird connections. The victim is somebody of interest in drug trafficking, and oh, just some drifter killed him, or some rando, some drug addict killed him. Like, who's to say? Like, I don't know. That's the thing. We don't know. We don't know how where these people's pasts are, and I'm sure shit don't think we'd be finding out. Yeah, they went to Elon. Like
No, better that these names disappear quick so
yeah.
that they are not.
Notably, I noticed on that website you sent me, the healonline.com, the regulation for Maine specifically for record keeping is like 3 years. It's 7 years. It's
Sharon,
seven
yeah,
years.
seven years.
It's not a long time. So I mean
And
they could
then
just be like, yeah, we never had fucking Jeffrey Dahmer here.
Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah, you can go look. It's
Go look at the files. These might be in there. You can look if
they're
you want.
we're using it as bedding for our chickens right now, but you can go look at the files. Go ahead. Um, yeah, no.
I'm not speculating that necessarily. I mean, like, I'm not trying to say there's serial
No,
killers that were created there, but I mean, it's possible. It's not impossible.
um, no. And what we should do is these teen behavior things have not stopped. In fact, I think this we'll probably be revisiting this again because we can probably dredge up some other institutions that have very similar,
Yeah. Well, I want to talk about Synanon at some point, like
yeah,
properly.
like properly, yeah, agreed. Um, and I'm sure we'll pull some strings up out of the sand between
Yeah,
here and there.
undoubtedly. And we're
Yeah.
also again, shouts out Sean. Hopefully, we'll get more information about Davidson. But yeah, I don't know what else to say.
Other than, sorry
Yeah,
to
sorry I
everybody.
unleashed all this. I feel
Uh,
unburdened from having talked about it, though. I
That's what
guess
I get
that.
for paying my taxes. Look at what I did to these poor people.
Okay, so www.historyhomos.com for the RSS feed. We're also available on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, BitChute, Odyssey, Rumble, Rockfin, and most importantly, www.historyhomospod.substack.com. If you like the show, you want 4 extra episodes a month, you can subscribe monthly there for $5 a month, or it's cheaper if you buy the whole year. And it's serious content, just like this content. You will not see the difference between this and the bonus episode. It is equally good and thorough. And check it out. And we do also film analyses. We've got one coming this week, by the way. You already heard it if you're a subscriber. But yeah, all kinds of stuff. So please check out historyhomospod.substack.com. Thank you so much for your support. 2025 has been a great year. Let's make 2026 even better for History Homos podcast. Let's grow it even bigger. So currently at time of recording, still friendliest place on the internet is the Telegram group. T.me/historyhomos is the channel. T.me/historyhomos chat is the chat. If you want to buy a t-shirt or you want to have any questions, comments, or concerns, email me at historyhomos@gmail.com. I'm just going to say this on the show now. If you're wondering what the intro and outro music is, it's AI generated. I've answered this like 1,000 times.
I've seen you answer it.
Starting to get irritated.
You poor bastard, yeah.
It's suno.com, suno.com/@historyhomospod.
Is that link... Is that link in, say, the description or the biography or about section of any of our
I think it's on
medias?
the Substack, I think.
Check it out on the Substack, folks, and
But yeah, no, and then follow us across social media at History Homos Pod. That's Twitter and Instagram. And die with dignity. Patrick, what do you want to say before we get out of here?
Never relent.
Shout outs.
Elan School, them call it Elan. Brainwashing youth, them a carry out plan. MK Ultra voodoo upon the children mind. Babylon School, you can't hide the sign. Babylon School, them call it Elan. Brainwashing youth, them a carry out plan. MK Ultra voodoo upon the children mind. Babylon School, you can't hide the sign. In a main bush, them build up the yard. Up the heart, say discipline, but I spell them cast. Voodoo chant fi control your fast. The counselor smile, but them eyes so cold. Selling illusion, mind and soul. The system wicked, it run too deep. Babylon a shepherd, sheep can't sleep. Babylon School, them call it Elan. Brainwashing youth, them a carry out plan. MK Ultra. Priest in a black robe.